Cabinet ministers behaving badly. I'm Brian Lilly with TheRebel.media. You know there's a good chance that a cabinet minister really did something wrong when they get hammered in question period by both opposition parties. That's the position that Justice Minister Jody Wilson-Raybould finds herself in over questionable, to say the least, fundraising practices. See, the Justice Minister is the country's top lawyer. They're in charge of lower court appointments. They hand out big fat contracts when the government needs outside legal work, which is always. She's also in charge of shepherding changes through the criminal code. This is one cabinet minister above all others that you want to make sure is keeping a squeaky clean image and practice. Which is why it's so odd that Minister Wilson-Raybould put herself in the position of raising money, big money, from lawyers at an event held at a big Bay Street law firm. It's also odd that the Prime Minister defended her practice and that the Liberal Party didn't step in to stop this really, really bad idea. Last week, Jody Wilson-Raybould walked into the downtown offices of Tories, a Toronto law firm. It was a $500 a head cocktail fundraiser, not even a meal, just cocktails for $500 a person. She walked into this event with her top policy person from her political staff at Justice. And yet she claimed she was not there as Justice Minister, just a lowly MP from Vancouver raising money in downtown Toronto at a law firm. Well, no one's buying that excuse, and on Monday, the NDP and Conservatives hammered away at it in question period.
Does the Justice Minister really expect Canadians to believe that high-priced Ontario lawyers paid $500 a plate to meet from the Member of Parliament for Vancouver Granville?
Even Conservative Bev Oda, in an ethically challenged government, was caught in the same type of scandal and gave back the contributions. Why won't the Justice Minister do the same thing?
Will the minister do the right thing, stand up, apologize, and return the pay-to-play cash in order to clear the stench from this sordid Liberal fundraising affair? Will the minister release the list of attendees? And if not, what does this minister have to hide?
Now, despite the Liberals being on the record opposing similar fundraising tactics by the Conservatives, the Liberals are now defending this practice. At least the Conservative ministers, like Bev Oda, like Shelley Glover, gave the money back. They refused to take it. That's not happening here. The Liberals claim there's nothing wrong with the Justice Minister raising money from the very people, the very kinds of people she will soon be awarding contracts to or appointing to the bench. It really was something to see, watching her and her defenders on the Liberal benches defend the actions that they used to denounce. Recently denounce. But then Minister Wilson-Raybould, she went too far. She went too far in her defense and invoked the gender and race cards. When Conservative MP Jacques Gourde asked the minister to simply acknowledge that she was at the fundraiser as the Justice Minister, Wilson-Raybould gave an answer that was insulting to every MP that dared to question her, and an answer that was beneath both her and her office.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I did attend a fundraising event. In advance, I cleared it with the Conflict of Interest Commissioner, complied with all federal rules with respect to fundraising, and the purpose or the discussion, the primary discussion that occurred at that event was about Canada, was about how far we've come as a country wherein we embrace diversity, ensure that all voices are heard, and recognize that in a country such as Canada, the Justice Minister can be an Aboriginal person and also be a woman. That's what this country is about.
So much to say in response to that answer, but let's start with the surface. She's been telling everyone she was there as the MP from Vancouver Granville. Now she says she was there for a discussion on how diverse Canada is and that this is a country where an Aboriginal woman can be Justice Minister. Well, which is it? Because if you were there as a lowly MP, why are you talking about to all these lawyers that you hold sway over about your position as Justice Minister? See, we've caught you, Minister. We've caught you in your lie. But let's look deeper at the meaning of the word she used. Wilson-Raybould is essentially trying to shut down any questioning of her bad decisions by invoking both gender and race. She's signaling that the opposition parties are somehow bigoted by asking about her, that their questions imply she shouldn't be Justice Minister because she's an Aboriginal woman. Shame on you, Minister. Shame on you. No one has invoked your gender or your race except you. No one raised either issue until you did in a disgusting attempt to deflect from the fact that you were doing something you shouldn't have been doing. You have a lot of power over lawyers in this country. Right now, you've got more than 36 judicial appointments to make. You have law firms to select for lucrative contracts on the murdered and missing Aboriginal file for the inquiry that you're calling. You should not be out raising money from lawyers at events like this because it puts you in a conflict of interest. It puts your office in a conflict of interest. But you know all that. You're a smart woman. It's why you've gotten to where you are. So do us all a favor. Don't insult the intelligence of Canadians. Don't play the race card and gender cards. And just simply admit you goofed up. Then you can make things right.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of The Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.